Good day, A1. Happy Sunday to all of you, and I hope that you are feeling great today. So, in this video, we are going to talk about the introduction to the digital age, specifically on how technology shapes society and on how it influences learning and connects with key educational theories. Anyways, we are group 3, and allow me to introduce myself as well as my group mates to you. So I am teacher Mary Rose Olid, and along with me are teacher Joseph Santillan, teacher Annabel Pena, and of course teacher John Albert Bulaga. And here are our learning objectives for this lesson. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to first explain the concept of the digital age and the role of ICT in transforming society. Next, discuss how ICT influences social change and everyday life. And lastly, analyze how technology shapes educational and technological theories. But let us first have an activity. So our activity or our game is just very simple, very easy, and very quick. And the title of it is Tech Quiz Challenge. So what we're going to do here is that we're just going to answer simple questions with the multiple choice options. So mamili ra jud mo sa mga options dito no asa ang inyong pilion, asa ka ang correct na answer dito. So, sa'yo na jud kayo siya. But the twist is you have to answer it within 5 seconds. Again, you have to answer it within 5 seconds. So I will be setting the time, and then kamo po din ha sa inyong end is you have to answer the questions honestly, no? So mag-honest lang jud mo sa pag-answer sa questions. Answer it without searching online, okay? And later on, let me know in the comment section how many points you've got. Okay, so you have to take note of your points or how many points you've got, whether through counting in your mind, no, or through writing para dili jud ninyo makalimutan. Okay, so right, I guess nakuha na ninyo ang mechanics no sa game. So maybe everyone is now ready and can't wait to play the game. So let us now begin. For the first question, which of these lets people send messages instantly? Letter A, horse messenger. Letter B, telegraph. Or letter C, email. Your timer starts now. 3, 2, and 1. Right, time's up. So what's your answer? Is it letter A, B, or C? Alright, if your answer is letter C, then you are correct. So no, ang C dyan pinakapaspas because it uses internet. Very good. Again, the answer is letter C. Next question. Which device can store thousands of songs in one place? Letter A, vinyl record. Letter B, CD. Or letter C, MP3 player. Your timer starts now. Alright, so time's up. Okay, so may mga answer ninyo. Is it letter A, B, or letter C? If your answer is letter B, then you are wrong, of course. So the answer here is letter C. So ang MP3 player dyan no ang makastore of thousands of songs in one place. Unlike the CD and the vinyl record. So ang MP3 maoy dakog storage nila. Okay? So again, the answer is letter C. For the third question, which lets you read books electronically? Letter A, ebook. Letter B, paperback. Or letter C, scroll. Your timer starts now. 3, 2, and time's up. So what's your answer? Is it letter A, letter B, or letter C? Alright, the answer for this one is letter A, ebook. Because the other two, no, they don't need electronic devices, no, para makaread ka. Paperback and scroll doesn't need that. But ebook, no, mo ni siya ang mga stories na ma-read nimo online or mga text no nga ma-read nimo online with the use of your phone, tablets, laptops, or computers. So again, the answer for this is letter A. For the fourth question, which platform lets people watch videos online anytime? Letter A, DVD, letter B, YouTube, or letter C, movie theater. Your timer starts now. I guess dili na ninyo need og time. No. Alright, time's up. So it's very obvious, no? The answer is letter B. So it's YouTube. Because YouTube, no, more siya maggamit og internet. So unlike the two, no, which are DVD and movie theater, which doesn't use internet or cannot be done online. Right? So the fifth question is, which method allows people to see and talk to others across the world instantly? Letter A, postal mail. Letter B, video calls. Or letter C, newspaper. What's the answer? 4, 3, 2, and 1. Alright, time's up. So what's your answer, everyone? It's letter B, video calls, no? Because ang postal mail and newspaper, no, cannot let you see, no, the other people, no, across the world instantly. Because although pwede na to ma-paste itong mga din ha, but dili siya instantly nga maabot sa imo ha. Only the video call through Messenger, WhatsApp, or Instagram can do that. Okay, so the answer is letter B. And for the last question, which lets people learn online from anywhere? Is it letter A, chalkboard, letter B, online courses, or letter C, printed textbooks? Your timer starts now. 2 and 1. Right, time's up. So, what's your answer? Easy or no? Right. So the answer is letter B, online courses. So it's very self-explanatory, that online courses lets us people learn online from anywhere. So that would be the end of our game, A1. And again, let me know in the comment section how many points you got. So kindly comment your scores, no, below this post. Okay? Alright, so good job everybody, and I know that at this moment no kay excited na jud kayo mo to learn a new lesson or a new topic. So now let us begin our discussion and let us start with knowing what is digital age really all about. So, the digital age is a period in human history that is characterized by the widespread use of digital technology, especially computers, the internet, and mobile devices, which really transformed how we communicate, work, or how people learn and live. So it's basically the time that we actually live in now, but so we're most all of our information, entertainment, and even daily tasks happen digitally. Like, for example, sending messages online instead of sending letters, And also sa entertainment, instead of watching the traditional TV with aerial or with antennas, people can now watch shows on streaming platforms like YouTube, and as well as sa atong education, no? Like for this example, even though we are not physically present sa school, no, we still manage to continue, no, our learning, no, ang pag-eskwela because of the digital tools. And also sa work pod, no, there are many people na sad na gana naga-use of digital tools, no, for their work, like for example mga online sellers, online tutors, no, naga na kayong mga do business online. So this era pod, no, started around the 1970s with the rise of computers, and has rapidly evolved with the internet, smartphones, and now naanatay artificial intelligence or AI that is very smart jud, no, nga almost all of our questions can be answered easily, no, and all of the information can now be accessed quickly and easily. So that is why it's called the digital age, because digital technology is at the center of almost, no, everything in society. And it is and digital age can also be called, no, the information age, the computer age, or the new media age. So mao na siya ang laing tawag sa digital age. Now let us proceed to the ICT and its role in social change. But let us first define what is ICT. So I know that you are very much familiar with this already because this was already discussed to us. But let this one serve as your refresher, your reviewer, just in case nga nalimot na mo ani nga sa definition niya, ug unsa diri siya all about. Okay? So ICT, everyone, stands for Information and Communication Technology. So it's basically all the technology we use to create, share, and access information. Okay, it involves information. So it's not just about gadgets, but it's about the systems and networks that connects people and ideas. So things like the internet, mobile phones, and digital TVs, no, are included in ICT because they allow people, or they allow us to communicate faster and more efficiently. So I hope nga na-refresh ra ang inyong knowledge about ICT, no? And now let us proceed with the ICT as a tool for social change. So ICT, or again the information and communication technology, is more than just computers and phones because it's a tool that can really change society as it allows us people to access information more easily, which helps us make better decisions and take a more active role in our communities. At the same time, it makes communication, learning, and work faster and more efficient for everyone. It also helps marginalized or remote communities connect, learn, and access services, education and healthcare services, no, and other services that were previously out of reach. So social change is equivalent to transformation in culture, economy, and institutions, which means that social change happens when the way people live, work, and interact shifts or changes. And ang ICT, no, mao ni siya naka-help, no, to speed up these changes, the societal changes, no, by making it easier for people to share ideas, communicate, and access information. For example, kanang mga online learning platforms that can improve education, like for example, Google Classroom, Google Meet, Kahoot, quizzes, Wayground, or Google Forms, and also kanang social media platforms like FB, Instagram that can promote equality campaigns, and as well as the digital tools that can help include marginalized communities in decision making. However, no, the effects of ICT still depend on how it's used. So if powerful institutions or individuals make good decisions, then of course the changes can be positive. But if it is misused, then it can create problems like misinformation or inequalities. Okay, so now let's take a look of these images, no? So what can you observe man or what words can you associate with these images? Hmm. Okay, so these images now represents entertainment, works or jobs, healthcare, and education. So these are no, some of the key social aspects wherein ICT really played a greater role. Now let us first have the ICT and entertainment. Today, technology has changed the way we enjoy entertainment. So, because of ICT or the information and communication technology, everything is easier, faster, and more accessible. So, here are some of the positive impacts of ICT on entertainment. So, first is that it provides clearer TV and radio on more devices. So, it means that we can now watch TV and radio with better picture and improved sound. And we can now do it on more devices, which means that with the use of our phones, tablets, or even our computers, we can now access different or various TV programs and radio programs that we can watch or listen to anytime. And also, next is ICT allows us to stream movies or shows at home. So yes, ICT here, no, positively changed the way we watch movies, because before people usually buy CDs or videotapes or go to the cinema, no, just to watch their favorite movies. But now, no, with the use of internet, no, and free sites, no, movie sites online, so people can now watch the movie that they would like to watch. Or if ganan sila gulay ads, no, they can also subscribe to apps like Netflix or iFlix. But most commonly, no, we use Netflix, or people use Netflix. So the third one, ICT allows people to watch and share videos on social media. So, what are some social medias now that we commonly know? So, yes, these are the Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So, we also get entertainment from these social medias. No, it allows people to share videos, no content, pictures, and their thoughts online. And it also allows us, no, people to interact with other users, other social media users around the world. And the next one, no, so ICT promotes more immersive gaming with better graphics and interactivity. So it means, no, that gaming platforms now are getting more realistic, no? and it feels more exciting because it has now better and detailed graphics, that reacts uh, reacts what you do to the game. So it really feels that you are actually in the gaming world, no? Instead of just watching or gaming or playing with the game. So it transformed the gaming platform, no? It it made it more realistic and more exciting. And lastly, ICT helps us to listen to music and podcast anytime and anywhere. So for music, no, and podcast, there are now platforms like Spotify that allows us to listen to music, no, to our favorite music anytime and anywhere. So in short, ICT makes entertainment more convenient, diverse, and always available. On the other hand, here are some of the negative impacts of ICT on entertainment. So first is reduced social interaction. So one of the negative impacts of ICT is the decline in genuine face-to-face interaction. So people often spend long hours scrolling on their phones or chatting online. For example, during family gatherings, some members some family members may sit together, but most of them stay focused on their screens instead of talking to each other. And over time, this reduces the quality of relationships and makes social connections feel less personal. Second is addiction and overconsumption. So yes, ICT can be very addictive, especially social media and online games. So most of the people nowadays, no, check their phones every few minutes or even stay up late just to play or browse. But over time, this overconsumption affects their focus, productivity, and can lead to serious health issues, which is the third negative impact of ICT on entertainment. So spending too much time on gadgets, no, affects both physical and mental health, especially kanang long screen time, no, because this can cause eye strain, headaches, and poor posture, no, from sitting too long. So for example, kanang mga students, no, in their online classes, especially if straight online classes, no, from morning to afternoon, sige ra upong ko, 'di ba? It can cause poor posture, especially if dili na ka makabantay sa imong posture, no, tungod sa ka-serious sa imuhang gipaminaw or giwatch, di ba? And mentally, constant exposure to stressful or negative content online can increase anxiety or make people, and especially students, feel overwhelmed. And the fourth one is financial cost. So ICT can be financially demanding. So, 'di ba? If you are a kind of person who loves to binge watch, no, but it bothers you if na kay makitaan nga ads, no? Especially if you are using the free movie websites. So what you usually do is to subscribe to a streaming platform, no? For example, Netflix, and that subscription can be very expensive. So in that way, no, it costs you a lot of money. The last one is exposure to unsuitable content. So this is another negative impact of ICT. So um, users, no, especially children and teens, may encounter inappropriate or harmful content online. This includes no violent videos, explicit material, cyberbullying, or scams, 'di ba? For example, a child watching simple cartoons on YouTube, no? And that child might accidentally click on a disturbing video. So without proper guidance, younger online users can be easily influenced or misled. So again, those are some of the negative impacts of ICT on entertainment. Next is ICT and business. So here are some of the positive impacts of ICT on business. So first is it reduces startup cost and promotes online entrepreneurship. So technology allows businesses to operate online with less money spent on physical shops, equipment or staff, no? Making it easier to start a business. Second, social media marketing equals faster customer reach. So yes, platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok let businesses quickly connect, with large audience and promote their products. Third is e-commerce, Shopee, Lazada, and many more allows 24/7 transactions. So online marketplace let customers buy products anytime, even outside normal business hours, increasing sales opportunities. And the last one is that it boosts productivity, communication, and innovation. So ICT tools like email, iCloud services, and project software help people work more efficiently, share their ideas faster, and develop new products or services. So in conclusion, ICT helps businesses start cheaply, reach customers quickly, no, through social media, and sell their products online anytime, and improve productivity, communication, and innovation. On the other hand, here are some of the negative impacts of ICT on business. First is cybersecurity risk. So increased threat of data breaches, hacking, fraud, and other cyber crimes may appear because of course it is done online and there are many people who can access, these various platforms. And second one is dependence on technology. So businesses can become too reliant on ICT systems that if there is a technical problem or technical failure, operations can be disrupted. Meaning, dili makakontinue o operate ang ilahang business if na ay technical failure because it depends too much on the ICT. And the third one is digital divide. So not all businesses, especially the small ones, have access to good internet or the skills to use ICT effectively. No? And this disadvantage limits who can compete online. And the last one is the technostress. So the fast pace of technology change or technology advances, can cause stress for employees or for staffs. For example, anxiety and burnout, and which affects their productivity. So while ICT helps businesses grow and run more effectively, it also brings serious risks like cyber threats, overdependence on systems, unequal access, and stress from constant tech use. So now let us proceed with ICT in education. So let us first have the positive impacts of ICT in education. So here are some of it, and we have the first one. ICT enables open learning and virtual classrooms. So yes, ICT let students and teachers connect from anywhere. No, for example, during the time of the pandemic, wherein face-to-face classes weren't possible during that time, no. So virtual classrooms or online learning modality was very important because it is one of the most that we have encountered during that time. And virtual classrooms made it possible for students to learn without being physically present in school. And the next one is that ICT supports teachers and students through multimedia tools. So videos, interactive quizzes like Kahoot and Wayground, no, and other multimedia make lessons more engaging and easier to understand. And the next one is that ICT encourages collaboration and personalized learning. So, yes, tools like shared documents, discussion forums, and adaptive learning software let students work together and learn at their own pace. And the fourth one is that mobile learning for remote or working students. Okay, so with smartphones and tablets, students who are far away or who are busy can still access the information or the lessons. And the fifth one is that access to global resources. So the internet gives students access to huge variety of educational materials from around the world. So there are now digital libraries or online libraries and some research sites. And the last one is personalized learning through AI and adaptive software. So some ICT tools adjust to each student's level, giving them work that matches their pace and capability. So here, no, using AI tools like ChatGPT and Gemini, no, students can personalize their learning. No, they can study, no, self-study using those AI tools. Moving on, let us now have the negative impacts of ICT in education. So we have the first one, which is the digital divide. So we all know that not all students have access to computers, tablets, or reliable internet. Students from low-income families or rural areas may fall behind their peers, and this creates inequality. Second, over-reliance on AI and technology. Students may become dependent on AI tools, which reduces their critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Third, distractions and reduced focus. Multimedia, social media like FB and Instagram, or other online content, for example, can divert attention from learning tasks. Lastly is technical challenges. So issues like poor internet connectivity, software glitches, or device failures can interrupt learning. Just like what happened recently after the Bagyong Tino or the Typhoon Tino, where classes um, were continued and were not suspended, but were not successful enough because of the poor internet connectivity of the students. Let us now proceed with ICT in jobs and earnings. So here are the positive and negative impacts of ICT in jobs and earnings. So first, ICT and AI create new jobs or new roles, such as software developers, data scientists, cybersecurity experts, AI trainers, and many more. These roles often pay more and require advanced skills, but it also causes job displacement, especially routine or manual jobs, because automation and AI can replace many lower skilled roles. Next, ICT enables remote work and flexibility, and that people can now work from anywhere, which can improve work life balance. But it also leads to emotional fatigue and stress because always on connectivity and constant digital demands can burn people out. Lastly, ICT enables higher wages for digital skilled workers that those with advanced ICT skills often earn more. But it also increases job insecurity because workers may feel uncertain about their future as AI adoption grows. So let us now proceed with ICT in healthcare. So here are the positive and negative impacts of ICT in healthcare. So first is better access to healthcare. So yes, telemedicine now allows patients, especially those in remote areas, to consult doctors without traveling. And this improves access and reduces waiting times. But ICT also reduced personal interaction. So telemedicine and automated systems may reduce face-to-face communication or interaction, which makes care or consultation feel less personal and sometimes affects doctor and patient trust. And the next one is that ICT improved data management or electronic health records. So digital records reduce paperwork, prevent data loss, and allow doctors to quickly access a patient's medical history, improving decision making and coordination of care. But it also poses significant threats to privacy and security. So electronic health data can be hacked or leaked, and this exposes sensitive patient information. And the last one is that it promotes faster and more accurate diagnosis. So AI systems can detect patterns in medical images or data. And this helps doctors identify diseases earlier and with greater accuracy, which improves treatment outcomes. But it also increases dependency on technology, which may disadvantage patients or clinics with limited digital resources. And that ends my part of the discussion, and I now turn the virtual floor over to the next presenter.
Good day, everyone. So, to continue, I'll be discussing theories in technology, frameworks that help us understand how technology, people, and society influence each other. Technology isn't just about gadgets or machines, it's about how these tools affect how we live, communicate, and even think. Through this discussion, we'll see how technological changes shape human behavior and how society also shapes technology in return. By the end, we realize that being aware of these theories help us become more mindful, responsible, and critical users of technology. Let's begin by recognizing how much technology shapes our daily lives. Technology plays a major role in shaping how people live, learn, and interact. From how we communicate to how we study, it influences almost every part of our daily life. Theories in technology help explain the strong connection between humans and innovation, how both continuously influence one another. These theories also answer a key question: does technology shape society, or does society shape technology? By studying them, we learn to be reflective users who understand not just how to use technology, but how it transforms our culture, education, and way of thinking. As future educators, we must learn not just to use technology, but to understand its effects on ourselves and society. In this lesson, we'll focus on three key theories. First is technological determinism. This theory says that technology drives social change. In other words, inventions shape the world. Second, social constructivism. This theory believes that society shapes technology. It's people who create and control innovations. Lastly, we have connectivism learning theory. This is a modern theory that explains how technology and digital networks help us learn in today's interconnected world. Each theory gives us a different perspective, so pay attention to how they agree or disagree with each other. Let's begin with technological determinism theory. Technological determinism. Technological determinism argues that technology is the main force that shapes society, culture, and human behavior. This means that when a new invention is created, it transforms how people live, think, and communicate. For example, the invention of electricity and the internet completely changed how industries, education, and relationships work today. According to this theory, social progress depends on technological advancement, meaning as technology evolves, society advances alongside it. People's behavior also adapt to new technologies. For instance, smartphones have changed how we connect with others and even how we process information. In short, technological determinism shows that technology doesn't just influence our actions, it reshapes our entire way of life. To proceed, there are two key thinkers that support this theory. First, we have Marshall McLuhan. Marshall McLuhan was a Canadian philosopher and media theorist, widely regarded as one of the most influential thinkers in the study of media and technology. His work laid the foundation for modern communication theory and introduced many concepts we still use today when analyzing how technology affects society. His most famous phrase, "the medium is the message," emphasizes that it's not the content of communication that matters most, it's the form of the medium through which the message is delivered. In simple terms, the technology itself, like television, smartphones, or social media, has a greater impact on society than the specific information it carries. McLuhan believed that each new medium reshapes human perception, thinking, and behavior. For example, television didn't just provide entertainment, it transformed how people experience time, attention, and information. He explained that when a new technology emerges, it changes the structure of society, even the content remains the same. For instance, watching a news report on TV affects us differently than reading the same story in a newspaper. TV presents information visually and instantly, while reading requires more focus and imagination. As a result, society shifted from linear thinking or reading to instant sensory processing or watching. McLuhan's ideas can clearly be seen in the transition from print to digital media. When people primarily read books and newspapers, information was processed slowly, thoughtfully and critically. Now, with television, social media, and streaming, information is fast, emotional, and image based. This shift changed not only how we learn but also how we think. People now have shorter attention spans, crave visual stimulation, and often prefer quick summaries over in depth analysis. So, for McLuhan, the true impact of technology lies not in what we watch or read, but in the medium itself, because it transforms society's habits, behaviors, and even our mental processes. The second key thinkers is Langdon Winner. Langdon Winner is an American political theorist and philosopher of technology. He explored how technological systems are not just neutral tools but can carry social, political, and ethical consequences. Winner took McLuhan's ideas further by proposing that technology can actually control or dominate human behavior. He argued that as technologies evolve, humans start to adapt their lifestyles to fit the needs of structures of those technologies instead of the other way around. For example, rather than us controlling our phones, it often feels like our phones control us. We adjust our schedules around notifications, stay up late scrolling, and feel anxious without constant access to them. According to Wiener, this shows how technology can quietly reshape social routines and priorities, taking power away from its creators. Wiener also explored how technology can be political, meaning that it can reinforce power structures and social hierarchies. He gave the famous example of low overpasses built on parkways in Long Island, New York, which were allegedly designed too low for public buses to pass through. This design effectively restricted access to certain recreational areas for people who relied on public transport, often lower income or minority communities, while wealthier individuals who owned cars could still enter freely. The point Winner made was powerful. Even something as ordinary as a bridge can have political meaning. The design of technology can either include or exclude people, empower or disadvantage certain groups. So, in Winner's view, technology isn't neutral. It's shaped by human values, but once built, it can shape human behavior and social power in return. Consider algorithm based social media platforms. They are designed to maximize engagement, which means they push us to spend more time scrolling, liking, and sharing. Over time, these systems begin to control our attention and emotions, influencing what we see, believe, and even how we behave. Winner would argue that this is another form of technological control where people unconsciously adapt their habits and beliefs to serve the goals built into the technology itself.
Now that we understand the thinkers, let's examine how their ideas appear in real world examples. These examples show that technology isn't just a tool, it's a driving force of historical and social change. The first example is the stirrup. The stirrup may look simple, but it revolutionized warfare during the Middle Ages. It allowed soldiers to fight more effectively on horseback. This invention didn't just improve riding, it changed the entire social and political system of Europe. Knights became powerful, and feudalism emerged as a dominant structure. A small piece of technology therefore led to massive political and cultural transformation. The second example is the gun. The invention of gunpowder weapons replaced swords and bows, which required skills and training. Anyone could now use a gun effectively. This shift changed military strategy, diminished the power of traditional warriors, and reshaped political structures by giving rise to centralized armies and nation states. Again, the tool itself determine how societies organize power and conflict. The third example is social media. In our modern world, social media platforms like Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram have transformed the way we communicate and express ourselves. Social media influences everything from relationships to politics. It shapes what information spreads, how we perceive beauty or success, and even how we interact socially. The technology drives behaviors like constant availability, shortened attention spans, and validation seeking through likes and shares. These platforms illustrate McLuhan's idea that the medium itself changes society, and Winner's argument that we adapt our lives in technology's demands. The overall impact of technological determinism is clear. Technology, technology drives cultural evolution and social change. It affects how institutions like education, government, and economy operate. However, this also leads to growing concerns. Are we becoming too dependent on technology? Are we losing control over our tools? And most importantly, are we allowing technology to define what it means to be a human? These are the critical questions that McLuhan and Winner encourage us to ask. So while technological progress brings convenience and advancement, it also requires reflection and responsibility. We must ensure that we shape technology before it completely shapes us. After learning about technological determinism, which says that technology shapes society, let's now explore the opposing perspective, which is the social constructivism theory.
Social constructivism theory. This theory explains that technology is a result of human intentions, creativity, and social needs. It argues that technology doesn't evolve automatically or independently. Instead, humans create and shape it to respond to specific problems or desires. This perspective highlights that technological development is socially driven. Every innovation begins with a human motivation, which is a desire to make life easier, safer, faster, or more connected. In this sense, technology is a mirror of society's priorities and values at a given moment in history. Examples: the invention of the telephone came from the human desire to communicate across distances. Additionally, the creation of solar panels arose from growing awareness about climate change and the need for sustainable energy. In both cases, human needs and social issues guided the creation of the technology, not some automatic evolution of machines. The main idea of this theory is that technology exists because humans wanted to solve a problem. Every piece of technology, from a simple hammer to artificial intelligence, started as an attempt to make human life more efficient or comfortable. It doesn't develop by accident or on its own. It begins with human intention. Examples: people invented the washing machine because doing laundry manually was tiring and time consuming. Additionally, the airplane was created because people wanted to travel farther and faster. Also, the computer was developed to process information and data more efficiently for human work. In all these cases, technology is a response to human goals, a reflection of creativity, innovation, and problem solving. Another important idea in social constructivism is that culture and social values influence how technologies are designed and used. Technological development is not neutral. It always reflects the beliefs, needs, and priorities of people who create it. What a society considers important determines the direction of its innovations.
Examples: in Japan, with its aging population, invest heavily in robotics and healthcare technology to support the elderly. In Philippines, with a culture that values connection and family, has a thriving social media community and communication app usage. Also, countries focused on sustainability develop green technologies like electric vehicles and renewable energy. These examples show that technology follows culture. It grows in the direction that society value most. Social constructivism also argues that society has the power to control which technologies succeed or fall. Not every invention becomes popular or widely used, only those that fit human interests, social norms, and economic priorities. This means that society and its institutions like governments, companies, and consumers act as gatekeepers of innovations. Examples: the Google Glass failed commercially because society was not ready to accept wearable technology that invaded privacy. Also, electric cars, which once struggled to gain traction, became popular as people became more environmentally conscious. Many scientific prototypes never leave laboratories because they are not aligned with current political or economic agenda. Thus, technological success depends on a social approval and acceptance, not just invention. The final and most empowering message of this theory is that technology is merely a tool. Humans are always in control. Social constructivism emphasizes human agency, our ability to choose, modify, or reject technologies based on our own values and judgment. This means we are not passive users, but active participants who decide how technology fits into our lives. Examples: people choose whether to use social media for education or entertainment. Also, teachers decide how to integrate digital tools into classrooms, and governments and companies set ethical guidelines for how AI should be used. In other words, while technology influences our options, it does not dictate our actions. We still hold the power to shape its purpose. To sum it up, social constructivism reminds us that technology doesn't have a life of its own. It is born from human imagination, guided by culture, and controlled society. It tells us that we are the creators, not the creations, the masters of the tools, not the servants of machines.
Let's now talk about some real life examples that show how social constructivism works today's world. First example is the smartphone. Humans invented smartphones to make communication faster, easier, and more efficient. Before smartphones, people had to use different devices for different purposes: one for calling, another for texting, and another for taking photos or accessing the internet. The creation of smartphones came from society's growing demand or for convenience and productivity. People wanted one portable device that could help them connect instantly, organize their schedules, do school or work tasks, and even express creativity through apps and social media. This invention clearly reflects human needs. It wasn't technology evolving on its own, it was society shaping technology to make everyday life more manageable and connected. Second example is online learning platforms such as Google Classrooms and Zoom. Those platforms were not created by accident. They were developed because of social and educational needs. When face-to-face classes became difficult, especially during the pandemic, teachers and students and institutions needed new ways to continue learning. As a response, developers and educators collaborated to create systems that allowed interaction, discussion, and sharing of lessons online. Even beyond the pandemic, These tools remain essential because they make education more inclusive, reaching learners in remote areas or those who cannot attend traditional classes. This shows that technological innovation follows human challenges and adapts to social context. Now, let's move on to the impact of social constructivism. First, it encourages responsible and ethical creation of technology. Since humans design and control technology, we must also take responsibility for how it's used. This theory reminds us that technology itself isn't good or bad. Its effects depends on human intention and decision. For example, social media can spread information or misinformation. The difference lies in how we design and use it. Social constructivism teaches that we have the power to ensure innovation benefits people rather than harms them. Second, it promotes the idea that people can cause innovation to improve communities and solve social problems. When society recognizes technology as a tool, not a master, it opens door for creativity and positive change. For instance, communities can develop apps to track local health issues, systems for disaster response, or digital platforms to support small businesses. This perspective empowers people, showing that everyone, not just scientists or engineers, can contribute to innovation that makes life better. In short, these examples and impacts show the heart of social constructivism. That technology is created by people, guided by human needs, and used to improve lives. It reminds us that we are not just users of technology, but active shapers of it, capable of designing tools that serve society, promote ethics, and create meaningful progress. The final theory we'll explore is connectivism, a modern learning theory that addresses how people learn in a digital and networked world. Unlike earlier theories that focused mainly on the mind of an individual, connectivism recognizes that learning today happens through technology, connections, and collaborations. Connectivism learning theory explains how knowledge is distributed across networks of people, technology, and digital platforms, and how learning happens by forming and maintaining those connections. This theory acknowledges that the internet has changed the way we learn. In the past, knowledge was stored primarily in books and teachers' minds. Today, it lives in networks of information that we access instantly. The two key theorists in this theory are George Simon's 2004 and Stephen Downes' 2005. They argued that in the information age, learning is no longer an isolated or purely cognitive process. It's a networked process shaped by how we connect to others and to digital tools. Now, let's move on to the core principles of connectivism and how this theory is applied inside classroom. First, learning and knowledge exist in diverse opinions and connections. This means that learning doesn't come from a single source or person. It comes from the variety of people, ideas, and perspectives we interact with. When learners connect with others through online discussions, digital platforms, or global communities, they are exposed to different viewpoints that expand their understanding. The more diverse the connections, the richer and deeper the learning becomes. Second, learning may occur in non human appliances, such as computers and artificial intelligence. This principle recognizes that technology itself can store, organize, and even process knowledge. For example, when we search for information on Google or use AI tools to analyze data, we're engaging with systems that help us learn. Connectivism treats these digital tools as learning partners, not just a source of information. It shows that knowing how to access and use these tools is an important skill in the modern world. Third is maintaining connection is essential for continuous learning. In today's fast changing society, information quickly becomes outdated. That's why learning must be a continuous process. We need to keep our networks active and updated. By staying connected through online forums, educational platforms, and professional groups, we can keep learning and adapting as new information and technologies emerge. The fourth and last is decision making is part of the learning process in the digital process. In the digital age, information changes constantly, and not everything online is reliable. So, learners must develop the ability to think critically, to evaluate which information is true, relevant, or useful. Making decisions about what to believe, what to use, and how to apply knowledge is itself a form of learning. This principle highlights that being a good learner also means being a wise and critical thinker. Now, let's see how connectivism looks in the classroom practice. Teachers can use social media, online forums, and digital tools to create learning communities where students can engage, exchange ideas, and collaborate. For example, using platforms like Google Classroom or discussion boards allows students to reshare resources, comment on each other's work, and learn together. Another strategy is integrating activities like gamification, virtual simulations, and collaborative projects. These interactive methods make learning more engaging and help students apply knowledge in realistic, hands-on ways. They also encourage teamwork and problem solving through technology based environments. Finally, connectivism encourages students' autonomy, critical thinking, and lifelong learning. It shifts the teacher's role from being the sole source of knowledge, to a facilitator, someone who guides students in exploring, connecting, and constructing their own understanding. This approach prepares learners to be independent thinkers who continue learning beyond the classroom. Overall, connectivism reminds us that learning today is all about connection with people, with ideas, and with technology. It shows that education in the digital age isn't limited to memorizing facts, but about building networks, maintaining curiosity, and learning how to learn continuously. Now that we've explored all three theories, let's summarize and compare them to see how they differ and connect. So, the main idea in technological determinism is technology shapes society and culture, while social constructivism, society shapes and directs technology. Meanwhile, connectivism learning theory, knowledge is formed through digital and social connections. In terms of source of change, technological determinism is technology drives progress, while social constructivism, human creativity, and social needs. Meanwhile, connectivism learning theory is networks and interaction through technology. In terms of view of humans, in technological determinism, humans adapt to technology, while social constructivism, humans control and shape technology. Meanwhile, connectivism learning theory, humans connect, share, and learn through technology. In terms of role of technology, in technological determinism, the technology is the master, while the social constructivism, the technology is the tool, while connectivism learning theory, the technology is the medium for learning. In the focus area is the technological determinism, it influence of tech on society, while social constructivism, human influence on technology, while connectivism learning theory, the role of technology in modern learning. Notice how the first theory gives technology the power, the second gives power to people, and the third balances both, showing how technology helps humans connect and learn together. To wrap up, understanding these theories helps us become critical and responsible users of technology, not just passive consumers. Remember that technology and society depend on each other. One cannot evolve without influencing the other. As future educators and professionals, we must ensure that technology is used purposefully to enhance learning, communication, and human growth. As the quotation says, technology is powerful, but how we use it determines whether it helps or harms us. Let's choose to use it wisely.
In continuation, let's talk about how technology influences major educational theories. Technology supports educational theories by providing tools that make learning more effective. It applies behaviorism through computer based drills and feedback, cognitivism through tools that develop the critical thinking skills of students, and constructivism through interactive activities like stimulation and games. Technology also allows personalized learning, where it encourages collaboration and creates engaging experiences such as virtual or augmented reality. Alright, so now let's move on to technology and behaviorism. But before anything else, let us define first what is behaviorism. Behaviorism explains learning as a measurable change of observable behavior that is produced by environmental stimuli and shaped by reinforcement and punishment. So, this means behaviorism focuses on what can be seen, the actions or behaviors of the students or a certain individual. So, where learning happens when the environment gives signals or responses like rewards or punishment that influence how a person acts. Next is learning happens through practice, repetition, and feedback. In behaviorism, students improve by repeating the tasks or activities and getting a feedback. The more they practice, of course, the more their behavior or skills become correct or better. So, lastly, teachers use rewards and reinforcement to shape learning. So here, the teachers will encourage good behavior or correct answers by giving rewards such as praise, points, or grades to students, especially when the students um, answer the questions correctly or the task that the teacher given. So it makes them feel recognized and appreciated. So, with that, students will be able to repeat the desired behavior do and it makes them learn effectively. So now let's talk about how technology applies behaviorism. So technology gives instant feedback. For example, quizzes, drills, or practice apps. So when students take online quizzes or use learning apps, They instantly see whether their answers are correct or not. So this immediate feedback acts as reinforcement, where ang katong correct answer sa students becomes a positive reward or positive reinforcement, while ang katong incorrect answer sa students signals that they need to adjust their behavior. Next is gives rewards like points, badges, and levels to motivate students. So here, technology um, serves as positive reinforcers, like they motivate students to repeat the same behavior, to study, practice, and complete the task. Next is learning platforms track progress and level to motivate students. So here, um, technology makes learning measurable and observable, just as behaviorism demands. Online platforms can record how often a student practices, their accuracy, and how much they improve over time. So, this data allows teachers to analyze behavior patterns and apply the right reinforcement or interventions. The effects of technology in behaviorism on teaching and learning. So, teachers can monitor performance and give feedback easily. So, technology allows teachers to track student scores, progress, and mistakes in real time, helping them to quick and accurate feedback to improve learning. Next is students stay motivated through reward and progress tracking. So when students earn points, badges, or see their improvement charts, they feel encouraged to keep learning and performing better. Lastly, learning becomes more engaging and data driven. So digital tools DI makes lessons more interactive and fun, while provided siya og data that helps teachers understand which method or activities works best for their students. Alright, so now let's move on to technology and constructivism. When we talk about constructivism, it is where students build knowledge through experience and interaction. This means students learn best when they actively do things like experiments, projects, or discussions instead of just listening. They create their own understanding by connecting new ideas to what they already know. Next is learning happens when they explore and solve problems. So here, students learn more deeply when they investigate, ask questions, and find solutions on their own. So this hands-on process helps them think critically and apply what they learn to real situations. So the rule of the teachers in constructivism, they act as guides or facilitator, not just lecturers. So here in constructivism, the teachers doesn't just give information. Instead, they guide students, provide supports, and encourage them to discover answers through their experiences and teamwork. Let's find out how technology support constructivism. So, technology gives tools for exploration and creativity. This means technology helps students discover new ideas and express their creativity through different digital tools. They can explore topics, create projects, and learn by doing instead of just reading or listening. For example, simulations, virtual labs, and educational games. So these are examples of how technology supports hands-on learning. Simulations and virtual labs let students experiment safely in a digital space, while educational games make learning fun and interactive. So students can collaborate online through Google Workspace, Padlet, or other apps. So technology allows students to work together even if they are not in the same place. Um, they can share their ideas, they can even edit documents and do work projects online, which helps build their teamwork and communication skills. The effects of technology in constructivism on teaching and learning. So here, teachers become facilitators instead of lecturers. This means teachers guide and support students in their learning instead of just talking or and giving information. They help students discover answers on their own. Next is the lessons use technology like videos, simulations, and online discussions. So teachers, okay, they used digital tools to make learning more interactive and interesting. Videos and simulations help students understand concept better, while online discussions encourage sharing of ideas. So next is teachers design activities that promote exploration and teamwork. So here, instead of memorizing facts, so students do activities that make them explore, think, and work together to solve problems or create projects. So lastly, students become active learners. So this means students take part in their own learning by asking questions or trying new things and finding solutions, not just listening to the teachers. So they become an active learners. Technology encourages critical thinking and creativity. So here, technology gives students chances to analyze, create, and think of ways to solve problems, helping them develop higher order thinking skills. Next, technology links learning to real life situations. So, lessons become more meaningful when technology show how classroom topics apply to real world, like through through videos, news, or real projects. Next is students can research real data and problems. So here, technology allows students to study actual events or issues, helping them connect lessons to reality and prepare for real world challenges. And lastly, technology helps them explore ideas through simulations, games, and research. So here, digital tools make learning more hands-on. Kay, the students here, they try virtual experiments, play learning games, and find information online to understand topics deeply. So these are the effects of technology in constructivism on teaching and learning. In conclusion, technology enhances behaviorism by making learning more interactive, motivating, and efficient through digital rewards and instant feedback. At the same time, it brings constructivism to life by allowing students to learn through hands on, student centered, and real world experiences. Together, technology supports both theories, it strengthens behaviorist learning through practice and feedback, and deepens constructivist learning through exploration and collaboration. So I guess that's end my discussion. Thank you for listening.
Now, let's move on to the technology and cognitivism. So, let's talk about cognitivism first. If you had to picture it, think of the human mind as a computer. Cognitivism is a learning theory that focuses on how our minds process, store, and retrieve information. It's not about just repeating what you hear, it's about actively organizing and interpreting new information to truly understand it. The main goal here is to develop students' understanding, problem solving skills, and critical thinking. The key thinkers in this area include John Piaget, Jerome Bruner, and Robert Gagne. So now, let's talk about the role of technology in cognitivism. Technology enhances cognitive learning by helping students visualize, organize, and manipulate information. Digital tools makes abstract concepts easier to understand and support independent learning. So here are the few examples of technology integration in the classroom. First, mind mapping apps like Google and MindMeister. These tools let students literally organize their thoughts and see the relationship between ideas, making topics easier to digest. Next is simulation and virtual labs. Students can experiment and see cause and effect in a safe, controlled digital environment. For example, a student can use a virtual lab to mix chemicals and instantly see the reaction, which builds deeper conceptual understanding. And lastly, educational games. These aren't just for fun. They're designed to build problem solving and memory skills under the hood. So now let's talk about the effects on teaching and learning. So for the effects on teaching, it enhances instruction. Teachers use digital tools and multimedia to explain lessons more clearly, and then it supports individualized learning. Technology helps teachers adjust lessons to fit each student's cognitive level, and then it provides quick feedback. Teachers can assess students' understanding instantly through online quizzes or apps. So, overall, technology allows them to enhance instruction with visuals and multimedia, explaining lessons more clearly. And it also provides tools like quick online quizzes that give instant feedback on whether students are understanding the material. And then for the effects on learning, it improves understanding and memory. Interactive visuals and activities help students remember lessons better. And also, it encourages active thinking. Learners analyze, solve problems, and apply ideas using technology. And it promotes self-directed learning. Students can explore topics on their own and control their learning pace. Overall, it improves understanding and memory because they're interacting with the content instead of just reading about it. They become active thinkers, constantly analyzing and solving problems using the digital tools. So now let's shift gears to humanism. If cognitivism is the computer, humanism is the heart. So what is humanism? Humanism focuses on the whole person. prioritizing emotional well being, self awareness, and personal growth. These theories says that learning should be student-centered, meaning the learner gets to choose their path, pursue their interests, and reach their full potential. The key thinkers of this one includes Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. Technology is the great empowerer in humanism. It gives learners the freedom to explore, be creative, and express themselves. Example of technology integration in humanism: first, e-portfolios and blogs. These allow students to showcase their learning journey and reflect on their progress. It's their personal digital space to own their achievements. Second, the digital storytelling tools like Canva. Instead of a traditional book report, students can create a video or a visual presentation. This enables creative self-expression and lets their personality shine through. And lastly, the online discussion forums. This builds empathy and collaboration by allowing students to safely share and appreciate different perspectives from their classmates. Finally, let's look at the humanistic impact. First, effects on teaching. We have promote student-centered teaching. Technology allows teachers to focus on learners' needs, interests, and personal growth. Second, it encourages creativity and expression. Teachers can use digital tools to let students express ideas through art, writing, and multimedia projects. Third, build supportive relationships. Technology helps teachers connect with students through communication platform, promoting empathy and understanding. So, technology helps them create a truly student-centered environment, focusing on the learner's individual needs and interests rather than a one-size-fits-all lesson. It also fosters a more supportive relationship by opening up communication channels. Now let's take a look in the effects on learning. First, we have enhances personal growth. Learners use technology to explore their passion, values, and self-identity. Second, it encourages self-directed learning. Students take responsibility for their own learning using online resources and tools. Third, it fosters collaboration and empathy. Technology enables teamwork, sharing, and appreciation of others' perspectives. So, for learners, it enhances personal growth because they can explore topics that align with their passions. Most importantly, it encourages self directed learning. Students take responsibility for their education, controlling their own pace, and using resources that best fit them. So, in summary, technology doesn't just make lessons easier, it fundamentally changes how we think and who we become as learners. It strengthens our mind and empowers our spirit. Thank you so much.
So that would be all for our discussion on the introduction to the digital age. So thank you for listening, and we hope that you learned something useful from us. Once again, thank you and goodbye.